and I just need to make sure that there's audio because there used to be a bug. I think it's been fixed now because it hasn't happened in a while, but yes, we have audio. Okay, and Dementia Radio now, and recording in 3, 2, 1.
Recorded live on DementiaRadio.org, it's the Funny Music Podcast. Brought to you by FuMP.com, where you can download new free comedy songs twice a week. Now, here's your hosts, Devo Spice and the great Luke Ski.
Hey, Devo Spice!
Hey, Luke Ski!
We have Harve Mann in the house.
Hey, Harve, welcome!
Hey, and I'm thrilled to be here with all you celebrities.
And
Boy,
also Steve Goodie.
Hi, everybody. I'm wearing my long underwear.
Nice. Very nice. And a tall hat, too.
It's my Santa Claus shuffle hat. As you can see, Santa Claus is unsuccessfully getting down the chimney.
That's awesome. Very cool hat. Welcome to episode 706 of the Funny Music Podcast for Thursday, December 28th, 2023. The title of this week's episode is Lyrical Wool, and I will put that in the chat, and your job is to try to work that into our conversations somehow. And I'm getting sick, and I'm losing my voice, and I have a sore throat. So I have a feeling it's going to get worse as the show goes on. So we're just going to do what we can this week, folks. But let's do a quick catch-up thing.
Let's get caught up with what Devo and Luke have been up to since last week. Or else Devo, if Luke bailed and didn't show up.
Hey, what? Oh, he's right.
So, Luke, what you been up to?
Well, I did a Christmas. For chance, did you do a Christmas?
I did a Christmas, too. I did a tree. I did the lights. I did a Christmas.
So, got to hang out with my family in the Midwest. Got to meet my nephew Bodie for the first time, and he is so adorable. Oh my gosh. It's like, all of those, it's like some kind of genetics experiment, Let's take my brother Michael, who is, it's like, I've always kind of felt like each Sinkowski child was kind of like, the alpha test, the beta test, etc. And then we got to Michael. It's like, okay, we got it right this time. He's got the looks, he's got the talent, he's got the brains, he's got it all. And then you take Anu, who is like this, professor at an, English university with a master's degree and everything. And it's like, let's create the genetically perfect child. And that's what Bodie is. And he's just adorable as heck. So yeah. And got a couple, nice gifts. Got Across the Spider-Verse and TMNT Mutant Mayhem on Blu-ray. And just had a good time hanging out with my family. And I just now got done hanging out with Carrie and Alexanne, and now I'm heading back up to Wisconsin. So just doing the usual Luke visits Wisconsin, and Illinois thing. And I'll be hanging out here until January 2nd, and I'll be flying back. So
that was my next question. Did you drive from LA? I guess not.
Nope. I flew from Burbank to Milwaukee, and then my parents or my mom picked me up from Milwaukee and took me down to Lake Geneva, and my sister is letting me borrow her car so that I could, drive down here to the west suburbs of Chicago to hang out with Carrie and Alexanne for the day.
Are you near Schaumburg?
And what?
Are you near Schaumburg?
Oh yeah, I'm near Schaumburg. It's if I had wanted to, I could have driven through Schaumburg on my way back, but I decided to take a different route because it's a little bit faster. But yeah, Schaumburg is a great area.
I bought my first used car there.
Cool.
Yeah.
So the mall in Schaumburg, Woodfield Mall, is the mall that Al Bundy supposedly worked at in Married with Children. Like even in there were some Married with Children comic books, and in the comic books they specifically said it was the Woodfield Mall and actually drew the mall to look like the Woodfield Mall, including their multicolored water tower that they had back in the 90s. So I always thought that was cool.
That's amazingly cool.
Yep. Anyway, what have you been up to, Devo Spice?
Well, we did the Christmas too. I got the Weird Al movie on DVD, and I got a new belt buckle. I don't know if I can show it to you. Let's see, can you? I got a new belt buckle. Switch back to me. Switch back to me. There we go.
I can't make out what's on it.
It's like monsters and creatures and like horror icons.
Fair enough.
So besides that, I don't know if I think I talked about it on this show. I've been booked as in a like supporting role in a web series that's coming up, and we had our first read through of the first 4 episodes earlier today, and it's really cool. I found out it's just going to be a web series. It's just going to be released for free on YouTube. So whenever it's done and out, I will be posting links and sharing it. It's about 2 guys who accidentally become hitmen, and I play the guy who sets them up with their hits. So I get to play this tough guy who kills a lot of people. The character reminds me a lot of Mike from Breaking Bad, the old bald guy.
Yeah. Jonathan Banks.
Yeah. So I get to play that type of character, and I'm enjoying the hell out of it. So
it's how I've always seen you.
Yeah. The funny thing is, like, when I was talking with my acting teacher a couple of weeks ago about, he was asking, like, what parts do we struggle with? What do we want to practice on? And I said, I don't think I'm a believable tough guy, So and then, like, I got an audition for a tough guy. I did not get that role. And then I got offered this role without even auditioning for it. I actually auditioned for another character in this show, but they liked me so much, they thought I would fit with this other character. So, and I'm a tough guy. So what are you going to do?
That's right.
So, but it's
own
fun.
it, live it.
So, Steve, what have you been up to?
Who, me?
You.
I've been writing up a storm. I did not do a Christmas. I avoided a Christmas. And I've been writing and recording like a maniac. Every now and then, the ideas just come faster than I can record them. You know how that is. Like after a long spell of nothing. Yeah, man. That's why it is my goal. And for some reason, you, Devo, seem to be facilitating it, that I put a song on the FuMP every week.
We do have a 20-song limit every 2 months, so you can't do that. So,
damn. All right, fine. Try to pen me in. See if I care.
Yeah.
As I mentioned before, I found my long underwear, so that's exciting.
Wait, you lost them?
They'd been missing for quite some time. Apparently, they were hiding underneath other things. But there they were.
Have you tried looking for things? It's a great new system.
Well, this is one of my things. When I'm looking for things, I usually find other things. And this was not one of those cases. I went looking for long underwear, and I found long underwear. That's why it's important to me. I lost a humidifier somehow. I don't know how you lose a humidifier.
That's a big thing to lose.
It's a small one, but it's like that. It's not tiny. It's bigger than the long underwear. And yet I cannot find that anywhere, which is frustrating during these dry months. As you know, Harve, you got to moisturize.
This is
I
true.
mean, without it, you can't possibly say, "Oi, it's so humid." Oi, it's so humid.
You know our people so well, Luke. Yes. What else have I been up to? I think that's about it. Just making stuff. Oh,
all
and
right.
driving Devo crazy with a ton of duplication.
And we're done.
You still up?
We're done. You did
We're
it.
done with the CDs. They will ship out tomorrow. Steve paid me right before the show. We're good. Everything's done.
Yeah.
I can actually check that off of my to-do list now. We're just like, now I'm down to 97 things on my to-do list.
And this means that millions of children will notice no difference.
Right. So, Harve, what have you been up to?
Well, last night I spent the evening watching YouTube videos of you and Luke.
I'm sorry.
I mean, you guys are doing God's work.
Thank you.
Making people laugh
Yes,
at
but
these
which
grim
gods?
times.
Yep.
And I wanted to ask Steve, are you still upset about the fact that that song doesn't rock? Jingle Bell Rock.
Yeah. So upset. I got most of it out, but then when I think about it, I go, "Argh."
Yeah, I was going to send my condolences, but I figured you'd get over it quickly.
I'll be okay. It's fine. It's not really even in the top 10 of my grievances these days, but it's one that I could make rhyme, so I went with it.
How about rocking around the Christmas tree?
Don't care for it. Don't care for it. I mentioned that in the song.
I know. We
All
have
these
that in common.
Christmas songs,
I
Christmas songs
mentioned
just
it.
don't rock. There's no rocking. Can anybody think of one that really rocks?
Yeah,
Like,
Toby Danger did a rock version of Mariah Carey, All I Want for Christmas Is You.
all right.
They did a parody of that called Die Hard is a Christmas Movie too. And they did a rock version, and it rocks. So there's
right.
one.
And I just recently got into an argument with Ian Bonds about whether it's a Christmas movie. It's not. I don't want to argue too hard because he's about to have a birthday, but he's wrong.
And I don't care either way because I've never seen it.
You know what? It's funny. I was talking about it with somebody else a few days ago, and it's like I've never seen it. I saw the Die Hard 3 movie one time in a hotel room when there was nothing else on in the 90s or something, but I've never seen Die Hard. And then I happened to see a little promo or a little some video that making fun of it and asking the question once again, is it a Christmas movie? And they showed clips from it, and I thought, I have seen that. So there you go.
You know, I think I watched you doing a live performance of about the phone does everything except you can't make a call on it.
Oh yeah, the cellular degeneration. That was a big hit on the Dr. Demento show back in 2007. It was #1 for the year.
Once again, shows how out of touch I am with the current. But watching that, I could see you playing a hitman. I mean, you got pretty. I thought you were going to get violent towards the end of that video.
Yeah, all that self-censored cursing at the end that last verse. I actually I drove from New Jersey to Atlanta for Dragon Con, where I debuted that song, which is what that video is from that's on YouTube. And pretty much the entire way, I just practiced the third verse so that I could get all the cuts in and out, just right. Because that was hard.
It was like method acting.
It wasn't just method acting. It was lyrical wool.
What is the term with wool? I'm not familiar with that. What is you said it was the theme of today's program?
The title of the episode. What a lot of podcasts do is, in fact, Luke is on a podcast with TV's Kyle where they do this. They do the episode, and then at the end of the episode, they pick some funny phrase or something, and they decide that that's the name of the episode. So
some kind of random, funny little 2 or 3 word phrase that was said during the episode. We write them down, as the episode happens, and then at the end, we list off those phrases and pick one of them to be the title. So the title of the episode comes from the conversation. But what Devo has done is, Devo,
I decided to reverse that. So what I do is I go to a random word generator. There's a website. If you just Google random word generator, it comes right up. And it gives you 5 random words. And I pick 2 or 3 that make a phrase that has no meaning whatsoever. And I say, that's the title of this week's episode. And your challenge is to work it into our conversation somehow. So we do it backwards here. It's just a stupid thing we do for no reason whatsoever. Just, it's a little fun.
So what are the 2 words again? I remember wool.
Lyrical wool.
Lyrical wool.
Yeah.
Okay.
I already done my due diligence.
There's no law saying, there's no rule saying you can't say it multiple times in an episode.
Oh,
and
right.
I will play the horn things every time somebody says it. So
It's
like Pee-wee Playhouse.
It's like Groucho, isn't it?
yeah, the secret, say the secret word.
That's how old I am. I bet Harve remembers this.
All right, so Harve, you posted a song. Give us a quick intro to this song, and we'll give it a listen, and then we'll interview you about it.
Thanks. Well, Bob Dylan called me up, and he said that he was trying to write a Christmas dance song, and nothing was coming. So anyway, but actually,
go ahead.
I don't mean to be make jokes. It was actually Paul McCartney to call. But I always wanted to write a dance song. I just it's just something I wanted to see people out there dancing to some of mine. And this was not my first attempt. I had one called "Doing the Hoa Around the Menorah," where I actually mentioned rocking around the Christmas tree. So I think we have that in common.
All right, so here is "Doing the Santa Claus Shuffle" by Harve Mann.
Thank you.
This is the 500th toy I've made today. If I have to make one more toy, I'm gonna die. Somebody's gotta tell the big guy. We need a day off. We need a union.
Okay, boys, we've all done enough for one day. When old Saint Nick needs to unwind after a day of making all those toys, he grabs Mrs. Claus from behind, saying, "Time to dance, it's time to rejoice." Turns down the light, turns up the stereo, and he and Mrs. Claus start to ho, ho, ho. They shake it to the heat of that reindeer beat. Jingle and bells, wiggle their feet. Kick up the boots, let the red suits rumble. Doing the Santa Claus shuffle. So shake your seat to that reindeer beat. Jingle and bells, wiggle your feet. Kick up your boots, let your red suits rumble. Oh, you be doing the Santa Claus shuffle. You know them elves like to be themselves. Got their own steps like nobody else. When Rudolph and his friends wanna fly higher, they shake their tails like a chimney on fire. So you and me, let's let the spirit flow. Let's dance by the tree under the mistletoe. Let's go shake to the heat of that reindeer beat. Jingle them bells, wiggle your feet. Kick up your boots, let your red suits rumble. Oh, doing the Santa Claus shuffle, yeah. Shake your seat to that reindeer beat. Jingle them bells, kick up your feet. Light up your nose, let your red suits rumble. Doing the Santa Claus show, yeah. Shake to the heat of that reindeer beat. Jingle them bells, kick up your feet. Wiggle them boots, let your red suits rumble. Yeah, doing the Santa Claus show, doing the Santa Claus shuffle, doing the Santa Claus shuffle. Ho, 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 a Santa Claus shuffle. Hang up the stockings. Start rocking. Yeah, we're doing the Santa Claus shuffle. Doing the Santa Claus shuffle. Santa Claus shuffle. Doing the Santa Claus shuffle. Shuffle. Doing the Santa Claus shuffle. Doing the Santa Claus shuffle. Come on, man. Doing the Santa Claus shuffle. Doing the Santa Claus shuffle. Dance around, baby.
Is there a reason I only heard the vocal?
It's Zoom.
It's got something to do with me playing the music back over Zoom, but don't worry, the stream is fine and the recording is fine.
It was interesting. It made me think of that John Lennon song they just did, where they have the technology to separate the voice and the piano.
They did it on purpose.
Right.
Didn't you record that one with me way back in like 1998?
Yeah, I want to say that Steve is all over that thing. He's at least one or two of the elves. He played everything. He played the bass, the drums, one of the guitars.
You know what's odd is that I remember the song really clearly, but I forgot that I recorded it.
Yeah,
I've done that. I've written songs I forgot about.
But how about for other people? Have you recorded someone else's song and then completely forgot that you did that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did a verse on, I think it was a 2D6 song that I wrote and recorded and sent them, and it showed up on their album, and their album showed up in the mail to me after their Kickstarter ended, and track 23 or something said featuring Devo Spice, and I went, what? When did we, what? And I completely forgot about it.
Yep. How about that? Hey, there's a link that I just posted. If you want to see Harve on the Letterman show, it's in the chat.
Right,
for real.
I'll watch that after the episode because
you need to see
I
this.
can't play it. There's no way I can put it through.
I understand
that.
I'll tell you, I found it very amusing. The video, or it was an audio thing I heard where Luke talks about getting royalties for singing the songs in the shower.
That's a sketch that Luke and I did as part of Cirque du So What, the sketch comedy that we did.
I thought that was Chris.
Yeah, it was me and Chris. I think you're on it somewhere. Oh, no, maybe you're not. It's me. Yeah, Chris plays the senator. I play the lobbyist trying to get the law passed so that people have to pay to sing in the shower. Yeah, I think it may just be me and Chris. But yeah, that was a fun one.
I mean, I'm glad we take credit for anything Chris has done because he does great work. So,
well, it's who knows what's going on with royalties these days.
Yeah, really.
It's a complete gray area at this point.
This is definitely one of the dancier Christmas songs I've heard. So,
well, that makes me feel good.
Can't sit still, man. I got so excited I had to take off my long underwear.
Oh, I'm glad you shut your camera off for that. I was wondering why you had your camera off.
We want to keep this PG around here.
Yeah.
I'll tell you. I'll give Steve credit on one more thing, which I'm sure you forgot. But we originally did like a disco version, and you really produced it really well.
Really, I did forget about that. I'm sure it's in my archives. I'm going to listen to it.
But you said this, and me, I'm the opposite. I remember everything I'm attached to. I don't remember anybody else but me. But you said at the time, you said, I like the rock version. And at the time, we put a lot of effort into the disco.
Yeah. Well, we did the disco version in, what was it, 1977? When it was hot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but this is I came to prefer this, and somehow I wasn't involved with the final mastering of that one, and one of your elf lines got cut. It had nothing to do with me. The line where you say, "We need a union," which to me is the best line the elves do.
Certainly the most ironic, since I'm not in the union.
I got it back on this version, and,
all right.
And you see what happens. You put Steve back on the thing with that line, and suddenly it's on the FuMP.
Uppermost of the poppermost.
So I was very impressed with the videos that you guys have. Who's responsible for that?
Usually the artist. It's different for each song. Generally, the artists produce their own videos. The FuMP as a group does produce like official videos, and we haven't done one in a long time, but we're trying to get them going. I'm actually
I saw two. One was I saw more than two, but the Twilight Zone was like, who put that one together, for example?
That was all Luke, right? Or did Don do that, or somebody?
Wait, which song you talking about?
Twilight Zone.
The Twilight Zone.
Oh, that was me.
Okay,
Very impressive. How about the Yosemite Sam one?
that was me. That was just clips from from Looney Tunes. And the funny thing is, like, the first part of the verse of the first verse, I copied pretty much word for word from when Sam burst into the tavern, any lily-livered, long-legged, all of that. So it fit, like, I managed to get the lip sync almost perfect for that intro part. So
Yeah, do you find both you guys with rapping? Do you find not being black to be a hindrance in any way?
no, not at all. I've performed in front of entirely black audiences, and they've been very welcoming, very open. I performed on a street corner in Harlem once. I performed in a very bad section of Philadelphia once. Yeah, they love what I do.
Yeah,
I think generally anybody who's like Generation X and younger kind of no longer gives a crap about race when it comes to hip hop.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, we honor, obviously its roots and, respect that, but, nobody's like sitting there going, "Oh, white person rapping," like it's some kind of.
I mean, it seems like they did in the early days.
It was a novelty in the early days where it was like a white guy rapping. Woo, yeah. Like in the early 80s, mid 80s, there was a bit of that. But it got old real fast. Like as soon as like any decent white rappers came along, then it was like, all right, that's enough of that. As soon as Third Base put out their album, people were like, okay, cool.
The Beastie Boys.
Yeah.
You guys, you both do it well, and you get right in the pocket, and so I mean, they got it. I think if the music's there, there's no discrimination.
Yeah. And Luke and I both do very nerdy stuff, so it's got its own little subgenre to it.
It's great stuff. Who were you? Who influenced you the most in that genre?
I was a big influence was the Fat Boys early on because of the comedy and stuff that they did, and I used to do the human beatboxing stuff all the time. And then a little bit later, Sir Mix-a-Lot, because I liked his delivery and his tone of voice, and I was like, I learned how to do like the rap
He's
performance
the one that
voice
did
from
Baby's
him.
Got Back.
Yeah. And he's also got a sense of humor. He's done some funny stuff. Baby's Got Back is a humorous song. It's not like laugh out loud funny, but it's a humorous song. But he did do some he did a song called the Square Dance Rap where he, pitched up his voice to sound like the Chipmunks and was doing basically a hoedown over a hip hop beat, and it's fantastic.
Wow. Yeah, I have that album.
Yeah, and I also was a huge fan of the Fat Boys, and additionally, Digital Underground. That's the group that had Humpty Hump for the Humpty Dance. And DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince made some great stuff. And just in general, like the old school rappers just had a lot more of a sense of humor in general. So even if a lot of them weren't trying to be funny music people, they still, they had clever lyrics, or they would do funny stuff in their music videos. Like you look at even a group as serious as Public Enemy still had Flavor Flav in it, like adding an element of humor to everything they did. So I just liked hip hop a lot for having that, that sense of humor about itself, from the 80s through like the, early 90s until like everything went gangsta. And then it kind of lost its sense of humor for a long time. So
it's like I like stuff like I'm the Type of Guy. I'm trying to think who did that.
That's LL Cool J.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. I like the funny ones. I tell you, the house I was living in before here, I don't know who it was, but somebody in the neighborhood would throw this party once a year where the music, I mean, you could hear it like in the entire neighborhood. And I guess people, just let it happen. But what cracked me up, I walk outside my house and, it's like everybody in the world could hear, I like big butts.
You can't go wrong with that. That's got something for everyone.
We actually had a guy at my day job that looked like Sir Mix-a-Lot, and then he left, and one of my coworkers was, oh, we never found out his position on big butts. All right. So, do you have anything you'd like to plug?
Well, I like to plug the song we just played because Steve's on.
That's why
Steve's on it, and it's always good to be able to drop names.
Yeah. But are you performing anywhere that we could go see you?
Right since COVID, I've been just I've been spending my life recording. I was on the road for many years, and I wrote so many songs, and now I'm getting them all recorded and archiving them. This guy, Michael Lestikai, you know him. He's been helping me archive my stuff.
Did I know him in LA and I've forgotten again?
No, I think he's the one. He came to you at the FuMPCast and had you autograph.
That Mike. Okay, I didn't know his last
name. I gave him my second. I think Lestikai is kind of an alias of his. I think he has a. So maybe
I don't know, but I do remember signing something for him. Yeah, the whisker.
He was when I told him I had done some stuff with you and that you had recorded Hitting Outer Space. I suddenly was getting star treatment from him.
This happens a lot. You get near me, it's going to trickle down.
Yeah.
And I gave him. I had 2 copies of the VHS of Whiskers and Me.
Yeah, I remember.
And I gave him one. I mean, he's like indebted to me forever. So I think that's what he had you sign.
Yep, I did sign that. It's really funny. Speaking of VHS, which is a format that's gone, I just had Devo here duplicate a bunch of CDs for me, and I've been selling CDs at gigs, but CDs don't sell like they used to. And very much when I'm doing a gig, people will often say to me afterward, I just don't have a CD player anymore. And my joke after that has been, well, I'll sell you a Toyota, and but it doesn't help me move any merchandise. Well, I found some external CD drives online for like $6 each. So I bought them. So there's no excuse. I got a bunch of them. If somebody I would if I had a CD player.
That's great.
That's a good idea.
So you might want to think about getting a VHS player.
I don't know. I CDs is my favorite format. And I still have records, I even have 8-tracks, I go way back. And
that's cylinders.
I'm sure that at some point CDs are going to make a big comeback like vinyl has. And us guys who had the foresight to hold on to our CDs and CDs player, we're going to be ahead of the game.
Yep.
How about you guys, Luke and Devo? Do you is it Devo? You
no,
corrected me.
Devo.
Okay, so I was. Do you guys keep a lot of CDs, or are you?
Oh yeah, we're all physical media hoarders here. Like every time somebody does a Kickstarter or something, I'm like, I want the one that gives me the T-shirt and the CD. Which one is that? Because a lot of times, I mean, nowadays we can all put our music up on Spotify or whatever, but there's no guarantee it's going to stay up there forever. And I, you will take these CDs out of my cold dead hands.
I'm with you. I have a whole box of Steve CDs.
Is that where they went?
I do too, but they're leaving tomorrow.
Yeah, everybody seems to have a box of my CDs.
Yeah, I love them all. Of course, I'm a collector, but I mentioned to you on the phone, I like the refrigerator art was one that I particularly was fond of.
Thanks. I think that's one that Devo just duplicated.
It is, in fact.
Hey. It's funny that I was discussing with Jace McClain, our friend at Needle Juice Records, that his favorite record of mine is the girl band record because it's a concept album. And he said, you should do more concept albums. And it did not occur to me. Refrigerator Art is a concept album, gosh darn it.
Definitely.
Nobody recognizes that. Yeah, I got to get somebody.
What you guys must have loved the movie with Daniel Radcliffe playing Weird Al.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. In fact, I just got the DVD for Christmas. Speaking of physical media, I just got the Blu-ray for Christmas. So,
yay!
Yeah, I was really Everybody was great. I liked Daniel Radcliffe, but I loved Evan Rachel Wood as Madonna.
Yeah, she was great. Yeah.
To me,
And Rainn Wilson as Dr.
Rainn Wilson as Dr. Demento. That was, and I was thrilled to see there was a Tiny Tim character in there.
You know, our friend Harve here goes way back with Tiny Tim for reals.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Tell him, Harve.
You know, I just found out that, you know, the movie that Weird Al narrates, The King for a Day, you know, I'm one of the talking heads in it, and Tiny, there's one of my songs in the movie too that Tiny does. But I didn't know this until I met this Mike I mentioned earlier. He told me on the DVD, I do a whole song. There's like 4 extras on the DVD.
Wow.
And I had written a tribute to Tiny, and I guess the guy, the director, Johan, he filmed it when he interviewed me, and I was so happy to see it on there.
He didn't tell you he was going to do that? Because that seems weird.
Yeah, I know it was a complete surprise. You know, like in the actual film, one of my moments where I talk, he has me doing like one line of it. You know, but in the extras, I get to do the whole thing. And I like the performance too. You know how critical we can be of our stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I was happy with the performance. But I may be the only guy that's seen it because.
Well, then it's very important that you be happy with it. The whole audience.
I mean, most people I think bought it online, but it's a good film, and you know, Weird Al. You know, somebody told me that. He called Al Weird Al in a phone call, like where there was where too few people were speaking, and Al took offense to that. Is that true, or was this guy's just paranoia? Would he get mad
no
if
idea.
you called him Weird Al?
I don't think so, because I just saw a video last week of Al out with Dr. Demento and a couple other people at lunch, and the waiter kind of coming up to him going, "Are you Weird Al?" And Al goes, "I am Weird Al," you know, and signs autographs and takes a picture with him and stuff. So I don't think he would.
Yeah, the thing that's made you world famous, I don't think you'd have a problem with that.
Yeah, I actually introduced Weird Al to Jerry Samuels, you know, Napoleon.
I mean, I suppose if you're being obnoxious about it, like, "Hi, Weird Al, how you been, Weird Al? Look, it's Weird Al," you know.
Or maybe he was pretending to be angry. He does that, you know.
Yes, yeah, maybe that was it too.
Maybe he just didn't like this guy.
Maybe that's it. I don't like this guy
too.
So he had to find an excuse to, diss him.
How dare you? Me? Weird? Sounds about right.
But I had run into him. It was an event at the Palladium when I was still living in LA. And, you know, if I see a celebrity that I really admire, you know, I will approach them, you know. So I just went up and said hi. And I mentioned that at one time Jerry Samuels was my manager. And he got all excited. He got excited to the point that he says, "I'd love to talk to him." So I told him his phone number. He didn't write it down, which seemed to me like, and he called him the next day. So I was very impressed that he could hear a number once and have it in his head to call him the next day. But they had several meetings, and Jerry used to do these benefits where he would go to like hospitals where kids were really in bad shape, and do shows for them. And Weird Al went. Now I'm worried he's going to get mad if he hears me call him Weird Al. Al went to a couple of these shows.
It's Alfred, if you don't mind.
Yeah, Al went to a couple of these shows with Jerry and gave out souvenirs, and he's a nice guy.
Yeah, he's a remarkably nice guy.
And he has a good memory for remembering phone numbers.
You know what I like? That I'm wearing a hat, Harve's wearing a hat, Devo's wearing headphones, and Luke is wearing a seatbelt. This is the safest podcast in the world.
How was you were feeling sick in the beginning? Has being with me and Steve and Luke? helped improve how you felt?
My throat still hurts. I don't feel lightheaded anymore, so that's a good thing. So maybe you're helping. I don't know.
I think sometimes getting in the performing zone. I
can
used to like
feeling better.
I would have a cold and I had a gig the same day. I found it was better to go do the gig because somehow when I got into that zone where you're performing, it sometimes the cold would disappear.
Oh, adrenaline is a hell of a drug. That performance you watched of me doing Cellular Degeneration, I was very sick during that. And like I couldn't breathe through my nose at all before, I went up on stage, and as I walked up on stage, my nostrils cleared, and then I was able to, perform, and then I'm sure I infected everybody in the area. Sorry.
In high school,
I was watching it. I felt like I was coming down with something.
I had a friend in high school who's a drummer in the best band in our high school, and they were just about to do the battle of the bands that had been building up to this after a bunch of weeks of competition, and he got mono 3 days before, and he was I can't do it, and then he did it anyway, and when the show was over, he didn't have mono anymore.
Yeah, no, it's something
He had stereo.
Boom.
But I noticed that your voice has regained its normal resonance since we've been on the show.
Mine?
Yeah.
Yeah, I seem to have. I mean, it's probably just because it's warmed up because I've been talking.
It's because Steve is a healer.
That's right. I was in a band called Normal Resonance, so now
that he has a set of vibes. He's able to send out these good vibes to you that I think by the time this program is over, you are going to be ready to leap tall buildings in a single bound.
I'm going to be ready to leap into my bed. That's what's going to happen. All right. So we're going to move on and do news and tour dates and then talk to Steve. Are you going to stick around for the rest of the show, or you have to take off?
I wouldn't miss it for the world.
All righty then. Let's do a promo.
This is the FuMP.
But it isn't too hard. I've got the Liar's Clue and the Vegas parody, some video game versions I can play on my screen. 24 and Busters with all like those properties, and the Scout the Wise Clue, because I give the charities. Of course, I have the movie and the documentary too, and this is for everyone who says I don't have a clue.
And in the end, when I was facing a fate worse than death, she became a wraith of joy and rescued me and set us free. Not bad for the first season of Ballet McGee.
I mean, when it comes down to it, you kids are jiggy, crunk, trill, funky fresh, and stupid deaf.
No.
Yeah.
That's the Funny Music Project at thefump.com. THEFUMP.com.
Now don't you bury that gauge. Bury that gauge at twilight. Boy.
Time for funny music news. Something.
In the news, the Via Bella Kickstarter is up to $2,961. They are about $550 away from their goal of $3,500. They have 12 days to go, so if you've not gotten in on this already, head over to Kickstarter.com, look for Via Bella, it's 2 words, live in Germany. And next week is the Dr. Demento Funny 25, so I looked up Jeff Morris's predictions for the year. Should I run through them, or would that be considered spoilers?
I'd say just wait. I mean, I've seen them too.
Okay.
But,
what I'll do is I'll keep the notes here, and then next week when we report the actual Funny 25 results, we'll compare.
I don't know why you think that telling people something that's going to happen that hasn't happened yet would be a spoiler.
Well, it's just it's not actually like 100% certain that these numbers are going to be correct. So
I know, but he's usually about 95% right.
Yeah. And
I don't know if you noticed, but to balance out the picture I see of the four of us, I put on a red hat. Now we all have red in our.
Sounds good.
Our picture. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Nope, you're good. And some sad news. Tommy Smothers passed away the other day. He was 86 years old, died of lung cancer, which is very sad. I loved the Smothers brothers. Such great performers.
Indeed.
All right. Anybody have anything before tour dates?
Before what?
Tour dates.
I want to give a thank you and a plug to Needle Juice Records.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry, something just happened
okay.
on my Twitch stream. I'm not sure whether that's just me or the stream or what. But anyway, continue.
So yeah, for my siblings and I, kind of do a Secret Santa thing between us so that we don't have to buy gifts for all of each other. So I was getting gifts for my brother Mike this year, and I ordered Uklamax Versus Evil and Nerdvana EP, and also the Worm Quartet Pac-Man EP. And I placed the order, and then I reached out to them asking if they, if I paid them more, could they, ship it a little bit faster. And Kendra and Jace helped me out, and I was another couple bucks extra. They shipped it up to my mom in Wisconsin, and it got there in plenty of time for me to show up and wrap them and give them to my brother Mike. So, give the gift of funny music to people you love by buying vinyl at Needle Juice Records, because they're awesome. So there we go.
Thank you.
I concur. I have a similar thing to report, but you pretty much said it.
All right. Tour dates. On Sundays in Nashville, Tennessee, Steve Goodie hosting at the Bluebird. You still doing that?
Yep.
All right. Sundays online.
I'm very impressed by that, Steve.
I was impressed.
I'm very impressed by that. I told
That's
Denise
why I do it. I've been trying to impress you for all these years.
I was impressed from the very beginning. If I look
Mondays.
distracted, my cat just opened the door and walked into my studio, so I got to watch where she
That's all right.
goes to.
On Mondays online, Steve Goodie and Brad Tassel at virtualcomedyshow.com. You're still doing that too, right?
Doing that.
All right. Coming up on Sunday on New Year's Eve, Mikey Mason will be doing a live stream online. I don't have any other details other than that, so check out his website for info. And then on the 6th in Santa Cruz, California, Phil Johnson and Roadside Attraction. And on the 6th in Doylestown, Pennsylvania, Carla Ulbrich.
Yay.
All right. Birthdays.
Curious doing that. Oh,
Sorry? What?
I was going to ask, how many have we made any more sales of the Tom Lehrer tribute album this
Yes,
week?
but I haven't totaled them up, so I don't know where we are. But I actually still have a whole bunch I need to ship out.
Okay.
Cool.
All right, birthdays. Today, the 28th, is Peter Wildman of the Frantics. Remember we had him at FuMPFest a few years ago? And coming up on January 1st, Insane Ian. Happy birthday, Ian, along with Eclectic Lee and Chuck. So happy birthday,
Chuck.
folks.
Lee, Chuck!
All right, Steve. Give us a quick
Yes.
intro to your song, and we'll give it a listen.
I got mad, made 45 seconds of music, the end.
Here it is.
Ah, the mall. The best place to hear the worst Christmas song. Jingle Bell Rock is a terrible song. You might think it's nice, but then you'd be wrong. It's cloying, annoying, I wish it would stop. Mainly because it does not rock. I don't mind Christmas time, it's pretty fun. And I especially love Gridlock. So I'm here to mock a song that says it rocks, but it does not rock. I hate Jingle Bell, I'd rather hear the first Noel than freaking Jingle Bell Rock. And yes, I can play the riff. Alright? Jesus.
Why don't you play the whole song?
Because I don't like the song, because it does not rock. I think I've been pretty clear about that. And we will not be rocking around the Christmas tree either.
I love that ending.
I love that it ended. That line where I said, especially love Gridlock. One time it accidentally, as I was recording, it came out, especially love Kid Rock. And I thought, I wish I could find a way to fit that in. You only have 45 seconds. You got to make some cuts.
Yeah. But yeah, we've actually, this came up on the FuMPCast a long time ago because I was at a music convention and the person who wrote Jingle Bell Rock was there. And I mentioned that, and Luke said, "Did you get to ask him why the song doesn't rock?" And I was like, "Unfortunately, no."
I can actually answer it, but it kind of deflates the whole point of my song. Because
I'm
in
curious
the 50s,
now.
That was rock.
Well,
that was rock in the 50s.
Yes and no. I mean, there was better rock in the 50s.
It was better, but it counted. You know, like Rock Around the Clock has the same sort of feel.
Yeah.
It's a shuffle. Santa Claus shuffle. We are trying to be Harve Mann. Some managed it and some didn't.
No,
there is one.
I was curious to ask you guys what part of Jersey you live.
Oh, I'm way up north in the boonies, by Mountain Creek, the park formerly known as Action Park.
Well, I'm on the East Coast now, so.
Oh, okay.
I'm in.
Yeah, I'm about an hour outside of New York.
Yeah, that's a good place to be.
It is, actually.
Every time I meet somebody from Jersey, and I ask them what part, they mention another place I never heard of. And you,
it's a thing we do. Yeah.
Crazy. And then you learn some new curse words you didn't know.
Yeah. But speaking of Jingle Bell Rock, if you want a really rock version of this one, Psycho Stick did a sort of parody of this song called Jingle Bell Metal, which is very, very heavy and fast. So you can listen to that if you want something that truly rocks.
Jingle Bell, they did a metal version of Jingle Bell Rock.
Yeah, it's just called Jingle Bell Metal.
Oh.
Oh, another reason I did this song, besides just being angry, or not really, I don't really care. But my vibes are. This is the second song I recorded with the aforementioned vibes, giving us the Christmas vibe, if you will.
Wow. Have you used the upright bass on any songs?
Yeah. I have. I can't remember which at the moment, but yes.
Did you have to? I mean, I know you're a world-class bass player, but did you have to learn? Did you have to learn the fingering and stuff?
I've been playing upright in college. It comes back pretty fast. And by the way, calling me a world-class bass player, there's no need to insult me.
Yeah, I don't know. I had to give up my bass. You know, I went on the road when I was about 20 or so, 21, and it was an act with acoustic guitar and sometimes piano and a girl singer. This is not Cherie. It was the first duo, and I left my bass at home. And when I got back, I was still in Philly, and I was waiting for any job at this point, and somebody called me up that knew me as a bass player to play at the Warwick Hotel. It was a jazz trio, and the guy was like a slave driver, and I had to play like 8 to the bar, and I just didn't have the chops anymore. And I walked out of there, the finger you pluck with was completely torn to shreds. So.
That's crazy, because the reason people become bass players is to play less. Get paid the same for doing much less.
Yeah, well, when I worked, I used to get a lot of work with this one society band where I was really hired as a singer, but the people, they don't want to pay for just that. So if you had a bass, and I actually had taken it up in junior high, so I knew the chords and I could hit the right. But the band I played with, it was very simple, just boom, 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 But this guy, he had. And so I came out with my finger all ripped to shreds. I said, I don't want to be a jack of all trades, master of none. So I sold the bass for a new guitar, which I still have. It's on the wall. Actually, it's in the other room.
But it is on the wall.
I don't think this story warrants having visual aids, but I do have a picture on the wall of me and Brenda Lee. Which I probably should have taken off the wall when you mentioned the Christmas tree. But I have a soft spot.
I'm not really mad about that song. It's all in fun.
No, I totally get it. And I totally get it.
The song that I can't stand is
song.
Simply Having a Wonderful Christmas Time. I absolutely cannot stand that song.
Nobody likes that song except possibly Harve.
Is that's the one Paul McCartney does?
Yeah.
There's a funny video online where the Yamaha people had just invented this very fancy new synthesizer, and they gave one to Paul. It was worth like $200,000. This massive, incredible, groundbreaking thing. Ooh, let's give it to Paul. He'll do amazing things with it. And then he did that, and they went, "Oh God."
Yeah,
it was better than that. I can't remember the actual punchline, but their disappointment, hilarious.
Who do you like as a lead singer? Better, John or Paul? Or are they equal in your eyes?
Well, personally, I like the one who's not dead.
That does help.
I don't know, call me finicky.
Although with this technology,
Yeah, that's true.
You don't know what's next. Does this scare you, the fact that I remember years ago, when drum machines were coming out and all that stuff and synthesis sequences, that Stevie Wonder in an interview said, well, they can never get our voice. They can never.
They can.
Yeah, I heard a John Lennon AI, and it just, it sounded like him, but didn't have that certain pathos that he has in his voice.
You have to push the pathos button. Turn the pathos up to 11, then you get John.
If you had been there when they did it, it would have been much better.
Yeah.
I just heard a noise in the other room. I don't know what the cat knocked over, but
that was Brenda Lee. Fall off the wall.
As long as it wasn't my picture of Brenda Lee. But in your lifetime, I know you guys have probably met a lot of celebrities. Do you have any celebrity meetings that were exciting to you?
Well, Devo met the guy who wrote Jingle Bell Rock, so.
And I met the guy who wrote Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer. So.
Really?
Yeah. He's been on our show a couple times. He's been on this show.
I think both those guys would be more excited to have met you than the other way around.
They were. Oh, make no mistake.
And I met the guy who wrote I Dropped My Phone in the Toilet. So.
And I met the woman who helped write that song. And she's in New Jersey. So it all comes
full circle.
That was your song, wasn't it, Steve?
It is my song, but Carla helped.
Yeah,
she is listed as a co-writer.
I have talked about that song, somehow in conversations about cell phones, that I've referred to that song more than once.
Funny thing about that song is, although it was an award-winning song, it had the shelf life of about a month. I cannot get that song to work again. I gave up. I don't know why it doesn't work in front of an audience anymore. I guess because who cares?
Yeah.
Everybody backs everything up to the cloud. It's not an emergency anymore.
Yeah, maybe. I had a song years ago that was like, you tend to have like one that usually is like the one you can rely on. This one will always work. And I had this one called Every Time I Cheat on You, It Makes Me Love You More. And some guy, some country singer, I won't mention that, he recorded it in Nashville and he put his name on it.
Come on, who did it? Who did it?
But anyway, that song in Philadelphia, when I first wrote it, it was like, it was obviously a comedy, but at least I hoped it, but it was very well received. It was, at a wide demographic, ages. But when I went to LA and did it, I mean, it made people angry. I don't know if the sensibility was different, but suddenly, you don't cheat on your, I get that, I saw like a girl drag her husband out in the middle of me singing it, So.
Well, that could have been anything.
Yeah. So this guy to put his name on it, and when he performs it live, he takes full credit for it. So now I let him have it. It's his.
Good.
That's all I got to say. Did you ever? But that's interesting.
No, it's not all you have to say. I knew it wasn't all you had to say.
No, I was curious. So you said the song worked for a long time and then suddenly.
No, it worked for a short time and then stopped working.
How do you account for that?
Because life sucks. I don't know.
I don't know. You guys are younger than me. To me, this technology, it's like being in a science fiction movie.
Mm-hmm. Well,
you know, it's
right
like
here we are in 4 different states chatting with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know this was going to be where you saw people, and it's very exciting.
Not only do you see people, you see somebody in his car. I think Luke's driven at least 60 miles while we've been doing this.
Yeah, basically.
I was starting to wonder if that was like this car was stationary and he just had some visuals in the back.
No, he's driving so fast it seems like he's not moving.
In fact, but before the end of the show, I will cross the state line into Wisconsin, so it'll be 5 states that will encompass this podcast.
Yeah, I did a lot of gigs in the Midwest. What part of Wisconsin?
Lake Geneva.
Yeah, I believe Harve and Cherie were there, but I don't remember clearly. But I worked in some town, Fond du Lac, Wisconsin.
I dated Miss Fond du Lac. I did, and I could tell you more, but
she told me enough. I don't think
I'm not kidding around. Miss Fond du Lac was awesome.
She said the same thing about you, but she was very.
She did not. She had the word fondle in her name.
Has anybody come up with some way of using the wool thing? I've already forgotten the first word again.
I already did it. I think it's enough.
Lyrical wool.
I asked Denise, I said, am I losing? And she says, no, you've always been this way.
Interrupt him, Devo, before he tells another story.
I got nothing.
Hey,
I got to say, you talk about storm music. You know, I'm really, to me, I love showbiz, and like I was just watching you guys last night, and now I'm seeing you in person. I'm as close to as you would, as this seems, and it's very exciting to me.
I want to thank the people at Verizon for making Luke's connection so solid. It's amazing.
Yeah, my connection's not much better.
How's your cold? How's your cold doing? Is it getting even better?
No, same throat hurts thing. And there goes my crap. Well, no. Optimum, like we got a letter the other day that Optimum upgraded my service at no additional charge to 300K per kbps, 300K service, and we tested it. On those speed test things, and we were getting about 160 to 180. So it was like, okay, good. Like, let's see what happens when we come to the FuMPCast. If the stream's gonna buffer, yeah, it's still buffering. I'm watching the bandwidth just drop and drop and drop, and then goes to 0, and then it comes back up. And yeah.
Steve, I wanted to say something.
Yes.
So. There is one cover version of Jingle Bell Rock that does in fact rock. In 1987, there was a Christmas special called Muppet Family Christmas. And about 10 minutes into it, Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem does an actual rocking version of Jingle Bell Rock. And it's the best, and you can see it on YouTube. And when I made my medley, It's a Fanboy Christmas 3, I ended it with Jingle Bell Rock, and I specifically had the person making my backing track, make the version that I was using based on the Dr. Teeth version, because I wanted something that actually rocks to the end of the song.
You're a wise man. And if anybody was going to make that song rock, it would be the Muppets.
Yes.
Absolutely. Steve. All right, Steve. So, do you have anything you'd like to plug? We got to move on.
Yes. SteveGoodie.com. And if you're in the neighborhood on Thursday, January 18th, come out to the Third Coast Comedy Club here in Nashville and see Al, the Weird Tribute, and how Daniel Radcliffe got mixed up in this nonsense live and in person. And we're going to record it, we're going to shoot it, and hopefully make a great big promo thing that'll make me world famous so that Harve Mann will come talk to me.
Well, if we're going to do plugs, I guess I should say I have a relatively new album called Must Be the Mandela Effect. Any of you guys into that concept, the Mandela Effect?
I've heard of it. I don't know that I'm into it.
Yeah, you start to believe stuff because you believe it.
Yeah, it's interesting. But I like the concept because it explains how certain things go into black holes. You know.
All righty.
All right. Well, that I just took the conversation into into the garbage with that comment.
All right, so
It was flowing so nice for a while.
Let's do some feedback, and then we'll play Kyle's song.
Making the internet absolutely ridiculous. Dementia Radio.
www.dementiaradio.org. Port 8027.
Please hang up and try again.
This is the part where there's feedback. Feedback. You know that segment of the show we do about now? Feedback. Feedback.
Feedback.
Draconis alert. Draconis alert. Draconis alert.
Draconis wrote, "To the fans of funny music, rest in peace, Tommy Smothers. Your sharp wit and comedic timing will be missed." Agreed. Thank you, Draconis. And we got a bunch of comments from YouTube. A-Log wrote, we're going to have to get A-Log his own intro because he's been commenting a lot lately. "You know what I said the week before about your dad's Christmas song being so wrong yet so demented? In Dead by 28's case, I think they may have topped Matt Rogers' infamous parody, I Saw Mommy Fucking Santa Claus, by a wide margin. Oh, holy night, oh, holy shit." Thank you, A-Log. Haven't heard that
Always
one.
appropriate. That's our A-Log.
And Hamner Hack wrote, "Just here to wish you all a very Merry Christmas and custard to you all. I think the movie that Bolognium used was The Night They Saved Christmas, mainly because Santa looks like Art Carney, and that was the only movie I could find where he played the jolly man in a red suit." Thank you, Hamner Hack. And I know this wasn't the thing that they used in the video, but Art Carney also played Santa on a Twilight Zone episode that was really cool.
I did not know that.
Yeah. It's a great episode. I'm not going to spoil anything, but yeah, look it up. And Rock and Roll Cashier wrote, "Ho, ho, ho." Thank you, whoever that is. That's a first-time comment, I believe. All right, we have a third song this week, and it's a new one by TV's Kyle, and it's the end of the Christmas song. So here is A Football by TV's Kyle.
Hey everybody, TV's Kyle here. Sorry I can't be there, but I am on vacation in San Luis Obispo. Yes, we did listen to Weird Al's Take Me Down on the way there, and we will listen to it again on the way back. So my song this week is A Football. Not the football, not football. A football. It was kind of written to the opening title screen to Mike Tyson's Punch-Out for NES, but then I changed the melody to make it mine in an Alf Clausen-y fashion, and beyond Alf Clausen in that that beat is not a march. An interesting thing about the title screen to Mike Tyson's Punch-Out is that melody is from a 1950s Gillette commercial. I don't know what's up with any of that. It's not my problem, and it doesn't need to be. Anyway, I don't know anything about football. I don't care anything about football. And so this is exactly the song you write about football when that is the case. I hope that you enjoy it, and I hope that you have a great time in San Luis Obispo. Wait, that's me. Good night, everybody.
A football isn't round enough. A football, pointed ends and stuff. A football, yeah, you use your feet, but you throw it with your dumb old hands. Yeah! Yes, folks and folks, welcome to the football. Here you'll find game and drink
and people. Just so many people that I'm very uncomfortable just thinking about it. Why are you here? Why are any of you here?
A football
Isn't round enough.
A football
Pointed ends and stuff.
A football
Yeah, you use your feet, but you throw it with your dumb old hands.
Yeah!
And that
So
was
why
TV's
is that a
Kyle.
Christmas song?
It's not a Christmas song. I said that's the end of the Christmas songs.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying like this song was the signifying end of like as if this was the last one.
No.
So I misunderstood you. I'm
yeah.
sorry.
Nope. Steve's was the last one. It was posted on Christmas Eve, and everything after is no longer Christmas. So we have a song about a football. All right.
Totally
Let's do some teasing.
Teasing. He's a teasing kind of guy. Now you have a jingle.
Yeah. Tomorrow's song is by Tony Goldmark.
Woohoo!
And we're going to have a special Sunday bonus song by me. And it is possibly the dumbest thing I've ever done. I don't know that for sure, but it's definitely up there.
We'll be the judge of that, Mr. Spice.
And the first song of the new year is by Bad Beth and Beyond.
Yeah.
Which seems appropriate.
Snap.
So, I need a playlist topic for the Spotify playlist thingy. So, any
50 years of hip-hop.
suggestions? 50 years of hip-hop? I can do that. Let's do that. So, I'll pull up some of the funny rap songs that I know about. All right, cool. Yeah, I will do that. All right, Steve, plug yourself one more time.
SteveGoodie.com. And January 18th in Nashville for Al, the Weird Tribute, and how Daniel Radcliffe got mixed up in this nonsense.
Harve, plug yourself one more time.
My new album must be the Mandela Effect.
All right. And TV's Kyle is at tvskyle.bandcamp.com.
tvskyle.bandcamp.com.
Jinx. All right. Oh, yeah. I'm going to bed. All right. Let's get out of here. Thank you for listening to the Funny Music Podcast. I'm Devo Spice.
I'm Luke Ski, and look at Steve Goodie.
Yay!
And there's Harve.
And Harve.
Thank you for listening to the Funny Music Podcast. You can listen live every Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific at DementiaRadio.org and join us in the chat. Or subscribe to the podcast feed. Look us up on iTunes and be sure to leave us a review. Feedback for the show can be sent to info@thefump.com. The Funny Music Podcast is a production of Fidem Interactive, LLC, released under a Creative Commons share-alike license. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, shout it to random people on the street, and be sure to visit thefump.com for the latest funny songs. Tune in next week where you'll hear Luke Ski say...
Steve Goodie's long underwear is made of lyrical wool. Yay!
Now I got to play the thing again. There we go.